Alright, so this is going to be a quick video on how I used Raptor Liner to undercoat the bottom side of my car, the wheel wells, and the inner tubs. So I'll walk you through the process of how I prepped the metal and got the project ready. Starting out, this is some Detroit Speed mini tubs I just put in the car. On the left you saw I have some weld-through primer, but on the right side it's just bare metal, and hindsight's 2020, this was kind of a mistake. I should have put some sort of coating on this right after I installed it, because the humidity of it sitting overnight caused everything to flash rust. I've got a product that works really well for removing this flash rust. You can see it here, it's called Rust Cutter. I just picked it up from Tractor Supply, and it's basically phosphoric acid. It's very similar to Ospo. I'll use a towel to put it on, and then as it cures, it'll turn into a white, almost chalky powder, and the residue encapsulates the rust and stops it from spreading. Now, everything under the car needs sealed up. I don't want any seams where in the wheel well water or moisture can get in. So what I'm using for that is the Sika Flex 221. This is a great product. I use it a lot for exterior railings. They say it's safe for potable water and a number of things, but for this application it'll be perfect. It's a lot thicker than caulk, and it just seals real well. Now, I know that a lot of people will pre-tape in between your seams and then caulk it, but I didn't do all of that. For this, a simple application and then using my finger here to spread it left a real nice finish. And for this part here, this isn't milk that I'm putting on my wheel well. This is actually the acid etch primer, or at least what's left of it. I dropped about a quart of it on the floor in the paint booth. It made quite the mess. Now, the purpose of the acid etch coat is to go onto the bare metal, and actually it creates a bind. So it grabs the metal, and that next top coat that you put on adheres really well. It's not intended to cover, and you can see it looks splotchy. It's not a coat that's going to seal it. It's just there for adhesion. So at this point, everything's in the acid etch primer, and all of my seams have the caulk, that Sika Flex, all these joints right here. And in the back, you'll see I've got some old paint. I'll do it off camera, but everything that is there black right now, the inside of the quarters, everything will get a wire brush and cleaned up and scratched just enough so that next coat will grab it. I talked about giving a profile for the next layer to grab. Well, that next layer is going to be this Eastwood. It's actually a direct to metal, but it's an Eastwood Epoxy primer. It's the same stuff that I used on the front of the car. I've been super happy with it. It's a 2-part epoxy, so there's a 1-to-1 mix of part A to part B, and this will just give me that corrosion protection that I need in this saltwater area. You're probably thinking this is counterintuitive, right? You just saw a paint booth, and I've got a 3/8 snap roller rolling on primer. The reason for this, I don't have a way to move the car effectively right now into my paint booth. So even if I was to use the HVLP touch-up guns or a small tip, I'm gonna have a ton of overspray. And I know primer, it dries up quick, especially this 2-part stuff, but I just didn't want that mess all over my shop. This was a first for me, rolling on primer and rolling on product. But I'll do it again. I was super happy with it. This was an eye-opener. It went on really easy. It was super clean, and the finish turned out pretty impressive. As you can see, I've got all of my epoxy on. The wheel wells are coated. In the back of the car, my 2-part epoxy has everything sealed up real nice. I've got that corrosion protection. And now I'm ready to put the top coat on. The top coat, I'm using the Raptor Liner, as the video suggests. And the kit I bought came with 4 quarts of the bed liner, and then also 1 container of the hardener. Now, the top of this hardener, I didn't have it on camera, but the top of it had some foil on it, which was strange. It had a knife emblem, and when I cut it off, I was worried I wouldn't be able to reseal it, but underneath was that pop top. The back of the can has all of the instructions on it, just like most cans of paint. And it gives me options. I can roll this, or I can spray it. The kit came with a gun. but I'm gonna roll it just because I don't want to make a mess in the main area of my shop here. For rolling it, I'm gonna use just a traditional little small narrow roller. I've got one sitting right here, and I'm using some 3/8 nap. That way I get some texture, and any of the imperfections, hopefully it'll hide it. Mixing this, it talks about just topping off the can with the hardener, but I'd rather do it to the amount that it needs. It called for 8 ounces, so that's what I put in it. I've mixed in 8 ounces, and the consistency of it's real thick. I love it. It's easy to work with, and you can see as I pour it here, it's just the viscosity is just real thick on it. So I am by no means an expert. This is my first time playing with this stuff, and I'm just making it up as I go and figuring it out. So some things I learned: this stuff coats awesome, but I found that it was best if I didn't try to get the final look while I was first applying it. The big thing was just getting it on. So getting everything coated, getting a nice cover, and then once I did that, I was able to come back with that nap roller with real light pressure and just even everything out and get the final texture that I wanted. It's just like painting a wall. You put too much pressure on one side or the other, it's gonna leave those little trails on the edge of the roller. But at the end, you can come back and touch it up. And you can see here, I was torn on how far to take it forward. Eventually, I'll do the whole floor in this Raptor liner, but I hadn't cleaned and scraped past this point, so that's about as far as I'm gonna take it right there. So I am over the moon about how this turned out. It turned out way better than I was expecting. It definitely needed the 3/8 nap. In my opinion, that was the perfect texture for it. You get a little bit of a profile. It hides the imperfections if you've got some characteristics to the metal, but it doesn't have that bed liner effect, that real thick, heavy, speckled look. Now, transitioning between the metal and the caulk and different contours, this stuff didn't seem to care. It grabbed really great, and I know some of the silicone-based stuff will actually cause it to deter it and pull it away, but I didn't even notice it was there. It covered real smooth. And as far as cure time or dry time, I would say I had about an hour with this. It is a 2-part, like you saw, and that stuff will sometimes turn on you pretty quick, but I had a full hour to work with it, and it was just the right amount of time. One thing I didn't mention is these little tight areas. I would use a chip brush if you're doing this to get all those areas that the roller can't, and then come back after and roll it out smooth. But that's it. I appreciate you taking the time to watch it if you watched the video, and if you're getting ready to do this on your car, good luck.